Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Bill Schuster has joined me yet again for two shows in a row. We are back with our ranking the albums of Rush Part 2. In Part 1, we went through albums 10 through, listen to me, 19 through 11. And in Part 2, we're going to be going through numbers, you guessed it, 10 through 1. But before I get into this interesting list that we're going to reveal for you, Bill, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, Armando. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. I'm doing quite well. We're going through a bit of a warm spell here in Edmonton. But how, just quickly, before we launch into part two, how easy was this list for you to do?
Easier than I thought. Um, I put it off for so long because I always figured it would be more difficult. And I did it in two sessions. I sat down and I did the first. I went through, listened to the debut first, and then I went in chronological order through the catalog and
Ooh,
put them one by one. I actually have my sheet right here without being able to read it. Oh, don't read it. Oh. But yeah, I would add, in between wherever as I went along. Let's see, did the one I was just listening to, is that better or worse than, and just go from there. So I actually had a process there. I wasn't just randomly throwing them out there.
yeah,
And then I second guessed myself many times since I finished the list a couple days ago, but I decided I'm not changing a thing. I'm sticking with it. It's on paper.
that's good. That's good. Um, m- my list, since you didn't ask, but I'll tell you anyway. For me,
You were going to
okay. My list, I basically went for the albums that I would gravitate towards more. Um, and it, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me, but I did it, and we're gonna bring it to you, ladies and gentlemen. Part two, we're gonna kick off with number 10. So, Bill, as he takes a swig, go ahead. It's only coffee in the cup
Mm-hmm.
for now.
Okay, my number 10. This one I actually thought was going to be higher. I was surprised when it shook out that it was this low, though some people will think it's still too high. Um, Caress of Steel. I love this album.
Yeah.
Um, I had mentioned on the previous episode about the three side length Rush epics. Well, the Fountain of Lambeth is my favorite of the three. I think that song is wildly creative. They were undoubtedly stoned out of their gourds. Who cares? It worked. They were experimental, came up with all kinds of cool hooks and melodies and just bizarre things. And just didacts and arpets. I mean, come on. Listen. Just a freaking amazing
Yeah.
song. I love
Yeah.
Fountain of Lambeth. The Necromancer, absolutely bizarre and cool. The way it's set up with its narration music, narration music, narration music, I think is an interesting setup for a song. They never quite did anything like that again. So it's unique in the catalog, and it's one of the things I like about it. Um, Bastille Day and Lakeside Park are the two that are, of course, best known from this album. They're the two that made the Chronicles compilation that Armando mentioned in the previous episode that I also bought. It was the first rush I got when I started going to CDs because it was a good bam. Here's two discs of all killer, no filler almost. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but really, I want to talk about I Think I'm Going Bald. I think that song, much like Tai Shan that I mentioned previously, gets a lot of crap for no good reason. I think if it had a lyric other than I Think I'm Going Bald, or a title other than that, I think it would get a lot more respect. People just think it's silly because of that title. But if you really get into the lyrics, which, well, all right, I got my record up there. I might be able to read them. I can't read this, frankly, so I'm not going to quote you any lyrics.
Yeah.
But it's really another meditation on aging from a much younger Neil Peart. So if you get into the actual lyrics beyond that, I think I'm going bald. You see, it's actually a fairly serious song,
Hmm.
and the lyric in general is not so silly after all. And it's just a good rocker too. So that much maligned song deserves better than it gets. Is it the least of the five songs on here? I will say that, but I still like it. Um, and yeah, absolutely. I love the cover. I love that bronze effect, the color scheme, the green and gold. That's, yeah,
Hmm.
awesome stuff there. But yeah, don't try to read the lyrics on the CD. You better get the
Or
record if
the
you
album.
have any hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caressa Steel, 2112 was supposed to be the one that made up for Caressa Steel because Caressa Steel was supposedly a failure. To me, 2112, while great, is a bit too refined version of Caressa Steel. Caressa Steel is bolder and wilder and cooler, I
Hmm.
think. So
Hmm.
that's why it ranks a little higher for me.
Okay. All right. Good choice. My number 10 is 2112 from 76. This was the make or break situation for Rush. Cressa Steel did not do well, and Mercury were telling them you either deliver or you're off the label. And Rush, the members basically said, fuck it, we're going to do what we want. If we're going to go out, we're going to go out the way we want to go out. With the sidelong epic of, the title track of, music being banned in a advanced civilization and only to have it rediscovered. The overture, sorry, only coffee in my cup. The overture combined with the Temple of Syrinx, which was again on the Chronicles collection as a piece. Holy shit! This is Rush going for broke and just doing what they want to do. Amazing guitar. First of all, the opening sequence of the outer space feeling of being out there in the hemisphere, no pun intended, kind of thing. And so, the swirling synths that combine to make up that intro, and then the guitars kick in, and then bam, you're off and running. It's like holy shit. And a little side note, the music journalism show I've mentioned before on the channel, the new music, had 2112, the overture, as the opening piece of music for their show from 79 to 82 for something like just amazing. And segues into the Temple of Syrinx, with the lyric, and the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, damn it, they did. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a good it's a good side one opener. Is it too long? Should it have been maybe a whole album? Possibly. Other songs of note for me in the album are A Passage to Bangkok, The Twilight Zone, Uh, but it's got to be said. I give them props for just sticking to their guns and saying, if we're going to go out, we're going to go out the way we want to go out and not conform to what radio is expecting us to do and record another afternoon delight. It ain't going to happen. So, hats off, to 2112 featuring, again, those songs I mentioned, and flashing my bald head. So, I mean, there you go for going bald. Okay. I do shave this, by the way. But yeah, that's my number 10. Yeah, 2112.
Now I can't get it out of my head. I'm
Afternoon
hearing
Delight.
Geddy's Banshee 70s howl saying "Sky rockets in flight." Not
Yeah.
doing afternoon. I don't know. That would have
Afternoon
been
Delight.
something.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I had to mention that because this was around the same time that that these songs were coming out, Afternoon Delight. But they stuck to their guns. I mean, they did what they wanted to do. If they said, if we're going to go out, if we're going to get dropped by Mercury, we're going to get dropped by doing it our way. We're not going to conform. We're not going to do what they want us to do. It's like we're not into that. So let's just go for broke. And luckily, it turned the corner for them, and they were able to build on that. As I said before taping, I didn't know Caress of Steel or Fly By Night existed until 85. If this is their foundation to build on, it's a hell of a foundation to build on to go forward, you know. But anyway, I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear that from me. Go on. You're number nine?
All right. Most since I had 2112 ranked way back at number 12 in the previous episode, I threw bones to 2112 fans with my Starman hat for this episode. Just
Yeah, there you go. There
make
you
that
go.
clear.
There you
Um,
go.
all right. My number nine. Well, if this one and the next one don't get me canceled, I'm probably home free. Um, my number nine is Permanent Waves. Uh, yeah, many would say this is their best album, maybe their number two album. It has two immaculate classics right off the bat that I cannot argue with. The Spirit of Radio and Free Will are timeless. I never get tired of those. They're popular for a reason. Absolute all time classics. Everybody knows those. I don't really need to go on about them. Uh, Jacob's Ladder, it's nice, but it kind of takes the album down a notch for me because it takes a while to get somewhere, really. I mean, I know that's part of what it's all about is that slow build, but it kills the momentum a bit for me. It's good, but not great. I know a lot of people love it, but it's enough to keep this down a bit. Entre Nous is pretty awesome. I dig that quite a bit. I liked when they brought that back live too in the 2000s.
Your dog agrees.
Different Strings is lovely, and of course, Natural Science. That's a classic mini epic. One of their half of an album side type epics. Um, pardon the dogs, folks. They must have thought I
He
was
agrees
talking
with your
about
choice.
signals again. Um,
He likes your choice.
apparently so.
Oh.
Yeah, Natural Science, because they changed it up a bit when they played it live in more modern times, but it was still great then. Yeah, I really can't say much negative about this album. It's a classic for a reason. It, if I were trying to be objective and do what should be here based on whatever metrics, it would be higher, as would a couple others. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing the ones that move me the most now, and yeah. So it's at number nine right now. Permanent Waves.
Yep. No. My number nine, ladies and gentlemen, Permanent Waves. For the same reasons that Bill said. Just copy and paste. First of all, songs like "The Spirit of Radio" to start off the album. People are going to say, oh, "The Spirit of Radio," good rock-oriented pop track or a good pop-oriented rock track. Fantastic killer guitar on this multi-section, with the reggae sections, etc. But lyrically, it's talking about the consequences of compromising when you are in this business. One likes to believe in the freedom of music, but glittering prizes and endless compromises shatter the illusion of integrity. And it goes off into the chorus. It's like, wake up. He's telling you something. Neil is telling you something. Wake up to what is going on. We're being told we need to conform to succeed, and that doesn't have to be the way, you know. But I'm not one to gossip again, so you didn't hear that from me. I think it was a picture, if you will. You're getting up in the morning. You're getting out to start your day. You get in your car, you start the car, the radio kicks in, and you hear the opening notes of Spirit of Radio. That's what this music does to me. You back out of the driveway and you start driving down the street, you start your day. That's what I hear. That's the image I have in my head when I hear this song, right? The day is starting, you're on your errands, you're doing your thing, and you hear the Spirit of Radio. Fucking killer. It's a good way to start the album. Other songs are no Free Will, the other single. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Hello. Amazing guitar work on that track. Again, multi-section. but just a beautiful sentiment and just a wonderful track. This is where Rush stopped doing the sidelong epics. Geddy Lee had said in an interview in '79 they wanted to reconstruct their idea of what prog music was. Does it have to be a sidelong 20-minute epic? No. It can be with what's in the context of the arrangement of the song. Does it have to be 20 minutes? No, it can be six, it can be nine, but this is where the tracks got shorter. Yes, 9 minutes and change on some, but it's a good album. It's a really good album, and it should be uh, given more props. It's given props, but more, I believe. So, and Spirit of Radio and Free Will is still played on classic rock radio today. It's never really left radio airplay. Other songs like Entre Nous, you know, good track. It does slow down in certain areas, but you know what? It's still a good album and a good way to start the 80s for the band. So that's my number nine, Permanent Waves.
At least I won't be getting canceled alone. All right, this
Enough about the cancellation. Okay, you're not going to cancel.
all right.
Uh,
This next one will be the true test of that.
yeah.
Uh, all right, if I were to recommend somebody an album, if I didn't know anything about their taste in music, so I didn't have anything to go on, if I were to give them one album to get to know Rush, it would be my number eight, Moving Pictures. Uh, I think for most people, this
Ooh.
would be number one, and maybe it should be. This is a perfect album. So why do I have a perfect album way down at number eight? Well, because as much as I love this perfect album, I've heard it 12 billion times, and some of these other albums, well, all of these other albums in front of it, just reach me more now. They mean more to me. They lyrically,
Mm,
musically, whatever. We'll get into that. So it's not a knock on this album. This is considered their greatest album for a reason. And if you want to say that, I'm not going to argue with you. But for the purposes of this ranking right now, it's my number eight. Uh, yeah, even though I have heard it so much, I'm not one of those too cool for school fans who, oh, I don't want to hear Tom Sawyer again. No, Tom Sawyer is fucking great. I don't care how many times I hear it. Anytime I went to see Rush live, there's always those people that are like, oh, I've been to 12 shows on this tour. I wish they'd stop playing Tom Sawyer. The hell you don't. No, they better play Tom Sawyer for me and everybody else in here because
yeah,
I want to hear it. I want to hear it live. I want to hear it surrounding me in this
yeah,
arena.
yeah.
So yeah, there's no hate at all on this album. This thing is amazing, but uh, it mostly sits up on a shelf now and looks pretty until I get the wild hair. And you know what? I haven't listened to this old friend in a while. So, yeah,
Yeah,
nothing at
I
all
get it.
bad to say about it. It's an outstanding masterwork. Moving Pictures is my number eight, though.
I get it. I get it. My number eight, and this is going to get me kicked in the ass, Clockwork Angels from 2012. The anticipation for this album was immense. They were promoting this album at the tail end of 2010 into 2011, and oh, it's almost here. It's almost here. Finally, to the point where people are saying, "Where the fuck is it? Where is this album coming out?" You know what I mean? I think it was a good way to end off their recording career with Neil Peart. Sorry. The one track that does stand out for me though is "The Garden." It's a lyric that people really didn't think Neil Peart would write and that Geddy Lee would sing. Of course, his vocal range at this point is at the lower end. You know, there's the high, the high end, the middle range, and then the low end. Geddy Lee at this point is at the low end, and when he sings in concert at this point, it's difficult. It is really difficult. There's also a graphic novel written by Neil Peart, co-written by Neil Peart. That's you know, that's been out. There you go. Um, there you go. But I think that as a closing chapter. as the ending chapter to a recording career. I think that much like people have said, and I won't name who, but people have said that Innuendo was a good way to end off Queen's recording career with Freddie Mercury. I think this was a wonderful way to end off Rush's recording career with Neil Peart. I think it's a great album. I need to listen to it some more. It's number 8 for a reason. It's heavy in spots, it's emotional in others. And The Garden does stand out for me as you know the ultimate track on the album for me. Um, but yeah, that's my number 8. Clockwork Angels.
My number seven. I would have thought this might have ranked higher too. This was the first Rush album I bought. This was my favorite Rush album up until probably the mid '90s. Uh, it's A Farewell to Kings. This, to me, much like Moving Pictures before, is a perfect album. I love every song on here. I have no criticisms for any. Some people smack talk Cinderella Man or Madrigal. No, no. I love Cinderella Man and especially Madrigal. That's a perfect example of those songs I mentioned where they don't have to be flashy and proggy. It's just an absolutely beautiful, simple love song, which is something unusual for them. I can't tell you how many times I've just sung that song a cappella just because it's so gorgeous. It's such a great lyric and melody. So, yeah, Madrigal doesn't get enough love, I think, but it's a part of this perfect album. That said, the casual early fan in me bought this album for Closer to the Heart. The rest of it took a little to get into, but I always loved Closer to the Heart, and that remains one of their all-time classics.
Hmm.
Amazing song still. I don't care how many times I've heard it. I like Cygnus X1 better than Cygnus X1 Book 2. It's more concise, has great variety to it, and it's just a really weird, cool, spooky song. Um, but the real meat on this album is the first two tracks. Side one, A Farewell to Kings and
Hmm.
Xanadu.
Hmm.
Woo, wow. Two knockout
Motherfucker.
punches. Wow, in a row.
Motherfucker. Boom, boom. Two
Yeah.
black eyes. Oh,
Some would say, Xanadu is their greatest song ever
yeah,
for the
yeah,
hardcore fans. I've said that myself. I don't know if I would say it today, but
yeah,
if you put it on, I'm going to shut up and listen.
yeah.
Um,
Jesus Christ.
I don't care
I need a
how
cigarette.
much they've dined on honeydew.
Yeah,
Suck it, Paul Stanley. Pardon me, folks. That's between me and Paul. It wasn't meant for you.
I'll explain.
So yeah, Rush, A Farewell to Kings, amazing album, but it's my number seven.
It's a good number 7. And the Paul Stanley story is this. They wrote, and they wrote Caress of Steel. And Rush, for the few people who don't know, toured with Kiss as an opening act for the debut album. Alex Lifeson played Caress of Steel for Paul Stanley. And Alex Lifeson was so excited about it. Like this is our musical statement. This is brand new. This is fresh. It's ours. This is where we're going, musically. And Paul Stanley was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. What are you doing? You know. And Jim Bricker has said, well, in other episodes, Paul Stanley, all due respect, but Paul Stanley is the last person I would go to for uh, comments or opinions about respectable music. I'm not even going to go there, but it's that's the story. He poo-pooed Caressa Steel, so poo-poo on you, Paul Stanley. In terms of that, we're just joking around, guys. My number 7 is Counterparts from '93 with songs Animate, the lead off single, Stick It Out. A lot of rhythm guitar embodiment on this track. Heavy as all get out. Don't swallow the poison, spit it out, Uh, the The track for me is No One's Hero, Nobody's Hero, on this album. Just it's a sad track. It's very emotional. It's very poignant. With lyrics like "I didn't know the girl, but I knew her family." You know, all their lives are changed in a nightmare of brutality. Uh, Having a sister that was brutally beaten to death by her husband and losing her, uh, it hit home. It's hit home, this song, for all over again. It's so I know from personal experience what this song means. And it talks about AIDS, the height of AIDS, the fear of AIDS, the epidemic that was going on. It's just it's again produced by Peter Collins, but it's a return to form, this album for me. Really strong. Starts off with Animate, but it's a strong album. Bare bones, a lot of rhythm guitar. This was where grunge was at its ultimate with Nirvana and Smells Like Teen Spirit and Nevermind, etc. I think In Utero was just about to come out. It was. But this album to me stuck out. Start again. This album to me stood out above the rest of what was going on musically. Uh, and it's I think it should get more love and more respect and more mention, you know. But that's my number seven, Counterparts from '93.
It may
Yes.
get more mention.
Okay.
But first, one you've already mentioned, my number six, their final album, Clockwork Angels. Um, I'd love to rank this even higher, but if I'm being honest, Getty's vocals at this point, as you had mentioned, they really had deteriorated a lot, and it hurts some of the songs here, even in the studio. Live, yeah, live was pretty rush on quite a bit, but stuff like Headlong Flight, yeah, I was going through the whole catalog on random at work last night, just because fun, just prepping for the show and getting in the
Yeah.
mood. And
Yeah.
Headlong Flight came on, and the strain in his voice trying to hit some of those notes, it just did not sound good. Musically, it kicks ass, but yeah, Getty's voice did have an effect on my ranking for this album. It's not
Mhm.
his fault. The dude was great for many years. I mean, he pushed his vocal cords probably to places they didn't need to go. But it was good enough overall. Caravan and Bu to Be, of course, the first two tracks had been released a couple years prior as singles,
Yeah.
just in time for the Time Machine tour. And his voice wasn't quite to that point yet. I think the vocals on those two hadn't shown the deterioration yet. But it's like sometime on the Time Machine tour,
It happened.
you know, if you've seen the DVD, Blu-ray concert,
I
whatever,
haven't.
we saw the tour live. That was the one time we took our son Neil. Yeah, Getty's voice was kind of rough.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's going to affect it. But aside from that, though, one more thing that Getty did on here was that part on "Wish Them Well," where I usually don't mind the Night of a Thousand Gettys, where he is his own chorus and backup and harmony and everything. But on "Wish Them Well," there's the part where he sings, "All that you can do is wish them well," and that's all well and good. But then he comes back with a higher pitched version of himself going, "Wish them well," and I think it sounds terrible. Takes me out of the song. It just that needs to be stripped if they ever remix this album. But yeah, I absolutely loved Caravan and Bu to Be when they were released. The 2 year wait for the rest of the album seemed interminable. I mean, 2 years, fellas, really? You're gonna tease us with two songs? You're gonna make us wait that long?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It got to the point where people were saying either release it or just shut up about it already. It was their own version of Chinese democracy from GNR. You know what I mean? Luckily, this is a hell of a lot better than Chinese democracy from GNR.
yes.
Um, but again,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't gossip.
Yeah.
So
And musically and story wise, yeah, it's great. I absolutely love the title track, Clockwork Angels. That is a beautiful song. Very melodic. Just it needs to be loud, and it
Yeah,
sounds great in the live versions too. I dig Carney's The Anarchist, and of course you mentioned The Garden. Yeah,
yeah.
wow,
The Measure of a Man, it's like
yeah,
it's oh,
yeah. I'm not even going to get too deep in that because wow,
you're gonna
uh,
start crying. I know you. Yeah,
yeah. The Garden is we all anybody that's heard this album, anybody that's a Rush fan, yeah, knows that song and what it means. So
yeah,
yeah, the perfect career closer. Yeah.
yeah.
And Nick Raskulinec's, I think, did a great job producing here. Some don't like his style, but I think he did quite well. So yeah, it's a flawed album, and here I have this flawed album where I was bitching about Getty's voice in multiple ways, and yet I have it ranked higher than A Farewell to Kings, Moving Pictures, and Permanent Waves.
It's all
So
about
that tells you
emotion.
how high the highs are
It's
and
all
how
about
much it
emotion.
means to me. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
different ways to rank these, different reasons.
yeah, yeah. No, I get that. Here comes the kick in my ass. My number six, Caress of Steel. Uh, I think that for a band that was pretty much untested on commercial success, uh, and at the time, in Canada, you really didn't have a lot of progressive rock bands that were going into this field. You had A Foot in Cold Water. You had, Make Me Do Anything You Want. That it was top 40 AM radio at this point. Rush didn't fit into that prog category, but they forged through and they did an album of fantasy. And it's not keyboards, it's bass guitar and drums and vocals. It's not your typical, and I'm not knocking, yes, do not, this is not Tales of from Topographic Oceans, okay? This is not Close to the Edge, but this is Rush's homage to those albums. Geddy Lee, a massive Uber Chris Squire fan, and also King Crimson at the time. They loved these bands. So this was Rush's foray into prog, I was going to say full time. Maybe I do need more coffee. Full time, and with songs like The Necromancer, but also Lakeside Park, Bastille Day. I mean, it's like Lakeside Park for me is my youth. Just going on picnics with the family. I when I listened to Lakeside Park, I remember going to see the fireworks, at the 1st of July, and with our neighbor at a park, and being held in his arms. I was 8 years old. He's holding me in his arms on his hip, watching the fireworks go off, right? Um, it's those memories that bring it back to me. And, talking about these three travelers from Willowdale, and like when going into, and Willowdale is a suburb of Toronto, for those of you out there who don't know. But I think for an album, for a group that was pretty much untested, for a third release and a very daring release, Paul Stanley opinion aside, fuck that. This is a good album. It has legs to it. It has meat on the bone musically. It has musical dexterity, flexibility, versatility, and it just kicks ass. It just kicks ass. That's why it's my number six for its daring and its being adventurous musically. Number six.
Nice. Yeah, that's a little closer to where I thought it would end up on my own countdown. So, but 10
Yeah.
and 6 are not too far apart.
Okay. I miss these episodes with you. My God. Okay. All right.
All right,
Next.
we're top five here. All right. I realize you've mentioned some of them long ago, four out of my top five already. So we do have some definite diversity. We started out right along the same course with the same handful of
Yeah, but
albums, and then we started
yeah,
veering wildly in different directions.
yeah, which is good, which is good.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
That again, that's I'd like to emphasize that's one of the things that's great about a catalog like this with such variety, such longevity. If you find fans that find something to like throughout the whole catalog, you're going to have people with favorites from everywhere, not just the popular picks. So,
Yeah.
and that's fun to me.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
All
You're
right.
right.
So my number five, um, Paper Trails. This is the original, not the remix. This
I
is
have the
my copy I
remix.
got back in 2002. Um, I do like the remix. Which I prefer, I really don't know. I like different things about each. I get the remix clarified a lot of things, and that's cool. Some things do sound better with it. Others I kind of like the rough original. So I'm not really going to make a serious judgment call either way there. I'm just going to talk more about the songs and the situation. So this one was a long wait, obviously, 6 years.
Yeah.
And Armando had mentioned Neil's family tragedies earlier. So pretty real reasons for the long wait.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
lucky we got anything else from them after that. So this really was a sweet miracle to mention the song, one of the song titles here. The fact that this happened at all. When it
Is a
first came
fucking
out,
miracle.
though, do what?
Is a fucking miracle. Sorry. It's like you got it's got to
Um,
be said.
I was actually, even though I was, this was a couple years into my hardcore too much online on 1,000 Rush message boards in the early 2000s, including a couple I ran myself, but especially one called Counterparts that I was a member of. That was a big message board for the Rush fans at that time.
Hmm.
We spent like years talking
Yeah.
about this, any possible thing in anticipation. So when this came out, well, we all freaking exploded naturally. I mean, and yet I was kind of disappointed at first. I was underwhelmed by One Little Victory as the opening single at that time, and I believe it was Secret Touch in Nocturne or Freeze. Like it was one of those two. Was the third that they released to radio that I was hearing here on our local rock radio station when it came out. Surprisingly, um, and none of them really grabbed me. It took a while. It took until a couple years later when I saw them after RushCon 4 in Toronto for that 30th anniversary tour, and I heard Earthshine live. That's when this album started getting me. And then as I got older and the years went by and I got deeper into the lyrics, yeah, this is this is some rough stuff. Um, this is a whole lot of songs on here about a man coming to terms with losing everything.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy listen all the time, especially if you pay attention to what's being said. Um, and musically, I think it's pretty cool because, Alex is famous for his solos, and he doesn't really solo here.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, he doesn't.
riffs and rhythms, and yeah, so that's quite a bit different. Lots of layered stuff, which I like. I like when they experiment like that with something different. But I said at the time I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't getting it. But now it's like
Yeah.
this is cool. This sounds different than what they were doing,
Yeah.
and I like the experimental nature of it. And so you combine that with the emotional nature of it, this big comeback, and all the lyrics on here, and yeah, this album had to be in my top five. It may still be rising, frankly, the older I get. Yeah, Earthshine is still a favorite. basically this mid stretch, the stars look down, how it is, Vapor Trail, Secret Touch, and Earthshine. That's my favorite stretch of the album right there. Those five killers in a row. I just adore all those songs.
Hmm.
But really, the whole album is was really just, in hindsight, a great comeback. It just took me a while to come around to it. So Vapor Trails is my number five in whichever form you prefer, remix or original.
Okay. And again, we didn't go through this. We didn't confer on the list. My number five is Vapor Trails. Uh,
Remix or original?
um,
Sorry.
remix. Because I mean, I kept hearing people saying, "Oh, the sound is muddy. It's sounds like crap. This has got to, we got to clean this up. What are you gonna do? When are you gonna do it?" So then, when the remix came out, I bought the remix, and basically everything that Bell said about the album. Uh, I think it's a heavy album. It's brutal at times in terms of the guitar work. Yeah, you're right. No major soloing, but on from Alex on guitar. But I think that Neil losing his daughter and his wife in such a short span of time, and the fact that he just got on his motorcycle and rode across the states and just basically checked out and said, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to know anybody. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be alone or know of anyone or anything. Just leave me alone." And just did what he had to do to clear his mind, I think. And that to come back with an album like this, I think that it's a good album. It's a strong album for me. Earthshine is a good song, but yeah, it is my number five. So
Well, all right. My final four are ones that you have mentioned, three of them a long time ago.
okay,
So
okay,
we did diverge wildly here. All right. This next one, my number four, is my wife Stacy's favorite.
okay. Ooh, Test for Echo.
Test for Echo is a lot of people's least favorite. It's the final of the four Peter Collins produced albums. And spoiler, three of my final four are Peter Collins produced albums. So there you go.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
this was the first tour we saw them on. Um, so that was special for us. It was the first tour, which was an evening with Rush, no openers. So every time we saw Rush, we didn't have to worry about openers. We had a full night of Rush, and I think that was freaking awesome.
was this Toronto?
No, the only time we saw them in Toronto was in
Okay,
2004 after
okay,
Rush
so
Round 4 there. This
okay,
was in St. Louis, Missouri.
okay, yeah. I'm sorry, because all right, I'll tell you later. Go on. My
It was actually
apologies.
on Halloween night, 1996, was the first time we saw Rush in St. Louis.
Okay,
And did I get teared up? Yeah. Considering, yeah, this is my favorite band, and I had never seen them before. Yeah.
yeah, I
You
get
know,
it.
they opened with Dreamline, and as soon as I heard that, it was just,
I get it.
I was all in. But anyway, back to the album at hand that they were touring. Test for Echo, it takes a lot of crap from people. This is the first album after Neil had taken drumming instructions from jazz drummer Freddie Gruber and
That's
changed
right.
his drumming style, changed the way he held his sticks. A lot of hardcore Neil fans who are drummers themselves don't necessarily like the changes. I'll let them be the judge of that for themselves. I'm a listener, not a drummer, and I kind of like what he does here. So,
Yeah,
and I appreciate the fact that he was always willing to grow and try new things. He didn't buy into the "I'm the greatest drummer in the world" crap that a lot of people try to put in. You know,
the
he
label
knew
on.
he
Yeah,
was human and he always had something to learn.
yeah.
Uh, this you'd mentioned "Driven" earlier. That's one of the great songs on here. But there's a lot, I think. "Time and Motion" is a kick-ass kind of proggy tune. Totem is Neil has a lot of songs discussing religion, spirituality from different angles.
Yeah, and the chorus is killer.
This
Yeah,
one, yeah, this is a very different version of that topic from him, which is kind of cool. He covers all kinds of bases in it.
yeah.
The two of the songs that really take crap here from a lot of the fans are back to back Dog Years and Virtuality. I don't know what the problem is. I think virtuality, a lot of people back in the early internet days didn't like being called net boys and net girls.
Hmm.
They thought it was goofy. The song might be slightly dated lyrically, along with a couple others on here, like the title track talking about tough talking hood boys,
Yeah,
and but the general message I think still stands. I mean, we're on the internet right now. If you're checking us out on YouTube, we're throwing our message
yeah.
out to you.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, I think it's a great song. It has a kick-ass riff too.
Hmm.
So I mean, if you just don't like lyrics, just turn your mind off and listen to that riff. Listen to Alex tearing it up, and Dog Years is the other one that takes a lot of crap. I don't know if people just don't like the metaphor for comparing people's lives to dogs' lives. I don't know if they think it's silly that Getty sings "Sad Son of a Bitch," which is kind of odd for him. They don't usually do any remote anything related to cussing in their lyrics, so
No.
that kind of stood out a little. Um, yeah, this I think I get why people are not into it, but they're wrong. So there's that. All right, no, I'm kidding. Like I said, it's all subjective, but this has a lot of special meaning for me. Again, I said it's
Yeah,
my wife's favorite,
yeah,
and this album is it's special for us. I like all the songs on it, and again, Peter Collins does a great job. I think it sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of his production on all the albums he did. Even Hold Your Fire, I like the sound of that. I ranked way back toward the bottom.
yeah.
So yeah, number four, test for echo.
Well, good. That's a good one. My number four is Grace Under Pressure. I thought you were going to spit your coffee when I said that. I've always, I mean, from '84, and the box set 50th, 40th anniversary, sorry, is coming out March 13th. If you can get it for a good price, please do. Um, yeah, this album when it came out, the singles, Distant Early Warning. I've always loved Distant Early Warning. Just the whole arrangement of the track, the synth stabs leading up into the verses and the choruses. The fucking amazing guitar work and solo on this track from Alex Lifeson. Alex Lifeson had said that previously again that he felt that they lost direction musically on Signals, that the keyboards took more of a front seat and the guitars taking a back seat. Well, he turned it around and there is some major guitar work on this album. Um, Red Sector A, talking about the Holocaust and Getty's family, and I tear up when I think about that. It's hard. It's hard. The Body Electric, even using elements of ska and reggae on the track. I think I'm reevaluating this album. I think it propelled them more into the '80s and made them more relevant in terms of the music that they were doing and writing and you know promoting. After Image talks about one of their tape operators, Robbie Wheeler, sorry, that passed away about a year before they went into doing the album. Amazing, amazing. A single in Japan only, but an amazing piece of work. Between the Wheels is another. It's a good way to end the album, and uh, yeah, it's a good album. It's a really good album. I've reappraised this album. As a kid listening to it at 14, I really didn't pick up on it too much. The album was recorded at the studio in Morin Heights in Quebec, which is no longer there, as was Moving Pictures. Studio, unfortunately, is no longer there. Time you move on, right? And it's a classic studio. Many bands. Nazareth recorded there. April Wine. Um, but yeah, this album, I think it kind of got a little bit of shit when it came out. I mean, yes, the singles were popular. It did achieve platinum status, did reach number 10 in the US charts, but there was an underlying layer of crap that was heaped on this album, and undeservedly so. I think this is a good album. It's a strong album, um, looking back on it, and I think it needs to be talked about a little bit more with a little bit more reverence and a little bit more respect and praise. So that's my number four, Grace Under Pressure from 84.
I mean, obviously, I ranked it lower, but it is a really good album.
Yes, yes, you
I
did,
I
bastard.
did.
Go on.
Oh, but man, look how awesome their hair was back then. Look at Getty, that thing on his head, that coonskin cap looking monstrosity. But no, what I actually was thinking
I
I
know.
had forgot to mention earlier about this album was the red theme in the lyrics and titles. I mean, distant early warning, red alert, red alert. You got,
It's
red
Sector A.
sector A. You have red lenses. You talking about let's see, there's at least a couple more in here. There's red stuff all over this album. Um,
And this,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. There
So
are
it's a weird little
themes.
theme.
Yeah, there are themes in this, and the guitar work is killer on this album. It is just exemplary. I think it's wonderful. But anyways, and a little side note, there's the concert that was performed on September 21st, 1984 at Maple Leaf Gardens for this tour. There was a video released of it on VHS, an abridged version, uh, cut like 90 minutes. There is an additional 37 minutes of footage put back in, so you get the full show at Maple Leaf Gardens in 1984 for the Blu-ray that's in this collection. Is it worth $504? No.
If they sell it separately, we'll talk.
We'll talk. But if you can get this collection for like 300 plus, you're doing okay. Anything more? Are you nuts? I'm sorry. It's not. Oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's expensive. I mean, these sets are expensive, you know. So that's my number four again. Grace Under Pressure from 1984. Bill, please continue as he takes a
A lot of
sip.
coffee. Moving on to the water. All right. My number three. This is kind of the odd duck amongst my top five or top six, really. Uh, all right. This is also a Peter Collins produced album, though. Very different from the previous one. This is Power Windows. Talk about a keyboard album. This is the Rush keyboard album. This thing is absolutely smothered in mid 80s keyboards,
Yeah.
and I like it. I used to hate it.
Okay.
25 years ago, when I was talking about those old Rush message board days, I used to talk so much shit about this album. This was my least favorite Rush album.
Really?
Yeah. And now it's number three. I didn't get the sound at that time. I didn't care for it. I thought the big money was too repetitious. I wasn't a fan of it. Yeah, big money this, big money that, blah, 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 blah. How about doing something other than saying big money over and over?
Hmm.
Um, Mystic Rhythms kind of put me asleep back then. I mean, I obviously have different opinions on these things now. They're still not my favorite songs on the album, but I do like them quite a bit more now. Uh, but now it's all the in between stuff, things like Grand Designs and Territories, Middletown Dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of Neil's best lyrics are on this album, and And then, of course, emotion detector. You talk about Alex getting lost in the keyboards. He does some great guitar stuff on emotion detector. And in fact, one of the cool things about the keyboard era, and one of the cool things about Alex, even though he was bitching about being lost in this era, he adjusted and he played differently. He found
Hmm.
ways to stand out and fit in amongst everything. And I think it was cool the way he adapted. We got different things out of him that we might not have otherwise. So if
Yeah,
you really listen for Alex on some of these albums in this era, you're going to find him.
yeah,
Just yeah, don't let the keyboards overwhelm you. Just pay attention to whatever detail you want to hear here, and it's there.
yeah.
Um, this was the first Peter Collins production with the band. Obviously, quite a bit different, this and Hold Your Fire, than the two later ones from the 90s. Uh, yeah, this again, now I would consider this a perfect album. I wouldn't change a single track on here. It blows my mind that this used to be at the bottom of my list.
Hmm.
So
Albums
I
come to
love
you.
getting to
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll let you finish. But albums come to you when they come to you,
Mhm.
right? All of a sudden, the switch gets flicked on, and you're like, "This is a effing good album. This is really good. What was I thinking?" So if you're lucky. So yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah, the uniqueness of it is part of that reason. Even though, I mean, you got Grace on one side and Hold Your Fire on the other side of it, neither one of those sounds like this. They all have keyboards, but they all use them differently, and it's these 8 songs sound like they belong together. And this was the last album where they were concise. 8 songs, boom. You get Hold Your Fire, they start getting more. You got 10 songs. And as they went on, they would get up to as many as 13 songs. So
Yeah.
boom, they're in, they're out. 8 songs, 4 per side. We're done. And they said what they had to say and they did it well. So yeah, Power Windows. It may still have room to grow. I don't know. It may be number 1 one day, but we'll see. It's got some work to do to get there. For right
Yeah.
now, it's a strong number 3.
That's a good number three. No, I mean, and all I was going to say was an artist has to grow, an artist has to change for themselves, first and foremost. If the audience wants to go along with them, all the better. If not, well, I'll see you when I get back the next time around, you know? Um, an artist can't be faulted for that. I'm sorry. I mean, even though Queen did Hot Space, and yes, it's much maligned, some people respect it, some people love it. They did what they wanted, what they felt they should have done at the time. With Roger Taylor kicking and screaming, "No, I'm not doing it." Okay, fine. That kind of thing. But
They were under pressure to follow up the game.
bum. Okay. My number three, Hemispheres, from '78. What makes this album for me is La Villa Strangiato. Uh, the an album with 4 tracks. Okay, this is what Tales maybe could have been. Maybe one album. I don't know. Tales from Topographic Oceans. Starts off with Sigma 6, 1, Book 2. I have more respect for that track. Um, but what makes this album for me is La Villa Strangiano. The instrumental separated into 12 sections. Uh, Very unique, wonderful use of mini Moog and keyboards on the intro and synth bass. And the guitar work starts off with a 12-string guitar on nylon strings on the acoustic guitar. Uh, just wonderfully done. Just the multi sections to it, just the 12 sections to it. Anarchy, basically. When I listen to it, I think about the experiences that somebody goes through within a day. You start off, the day is brand new, full of possibilities. You leave your house, you go to work, you do your thing, and then the day takes all these different turns, different avenues, different twists and turns. and it's experienced through the music. That's how I look at it, right? Amazing guitar work from Alex Lifeson on it. Wonderful keyboard work and bass work. The Rickenbacker bass is coming clean through in terms of the production and the engineering and the recording of it. Wonderfully done. You know a Rickenbacker bass when you hear it, and that's Geddy Lee making that bass his bitch. I'm sorry, in terms of what he's playing. Yeah, when I first heard this on Chronicles, I wanted some more. I wanted more, and yeah, I think it's just a wonderful piece of work. Intricate, layered, textured, but again, accessible in terms of the track itself. Bold but subtle kind of thing. I think that this was where Getty said in '79, going forward, we've done all that we can do with the sidelong epics and the grandiose productions. This track, the Villa Stringiato, they tried to record it all in one go. They couldn't do it. There were too many different time changes, time signature changes, and tempo changes, and etc. So they had to do it in three sections and then piece it together. I've said this before, on YouTube, there is a wonderful video of them doing this live. Check it out. It is wonderful. But that is my number three. Hemispheres, deal with it. Moving on. You're number two.
I don't think you'll get a lot of argument from most people other than the likes of me. But
Okay.
all
Well,
right,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
I think it's great. I think it's great.
I mean, it is. I just happen to rank it a lot lower.
And you're forgiven. Go on. Joking.
All right. When I mentioned the Farewell to Kings a little while ago, I'd said that that was my first and my favorite Rush album up until the mid '90s. That changed with Counterparts. Uh, this album got into my soul. Um, Probably helped
Mm.
that I got into it when I was during the ending of my first marriage.
Mm.
Um, so these songs took on a more powerful resonance. But really, this is just it, it took Rush from being a band that I was a more casual fan of to wow, I love this band.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Um,
that aha moment.
yeah, I mean, this was different. That's they were
Yeah.
coming out of even though supposedly Presto and Roll the Bones were a step away from the keyboard era, it still had, as we mentioned earlier, that anemic Rupert Hine production. Oh, not so here. When Peter Collins came back after a couple-hour layoff, it didn't sound like Hold Your Fire.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like Power Windows. My God, this thing has big hairy balls. Excuse me, folks, but this boom. I, well, I mean, it has a very suggestive cover, so I think my language can be excused. It's no, seriously. This is
Sorry.
this is the return of Rush the rock band. This is the return of Alex Lifeson, the heavy guitar god. I mean, this is some of Neil's best work as a lyricist describing human relationships of all sorts. There's a lot of powerful lyrics on here.
Yeah.
Armando had mentioned "Nobody's Hero," and that was the song I heard first on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately got my attention, and the fact that he was talking about a gay friend
Yeah. Yeah.
at that time on mainstream rock radio,
Oh my God. Yeah.
that meant something. That was progress, and that was bold for this band.
Even
So
the lyric, even the lyric, he only introduced me to a wider reality. It was just like,
yeah,
whoa. I mean, it was like,
yeah, that was an attention getter right off the bat.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, I got to hear this whole album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it did not let me down. This thing is amazing to this day. Wow, yeah, yeah. You mentioned also animate, which is great. Talking about again the theme of the whole album, counterparts, the dichotomy and everything. The This talks about our male and female halves basically, and how they blend together. Uh, let's see here. Sorry, my thoughts are getting a little scattered at the moment. I was up working all last night, and it's starting to catch
No,
up to me.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Empress of the hidden face, priestess of the pagan mother, ancient queen of inner space, goddess of my garden, sister of my soul, all this.
Yeah.
And these lyrics talking about the male and female sides of humans, but combined with this kick-ass heavy rock music.
Yeah.
It's an interesting combo, and again, very bold for the time. Um, yeah, some of Neil's lyrics here are just absolutely outstanding. Cold Fire is kind of his attempt at a song about a straight up love song, basically, but there's no such thing as a straight up love song for Neil Peart. His
Yeah. Yeah,
he
definitely.
takes it elsewhere, but yeah, I mean, right in there it says she said this is not a love song. So
Yeah.
there you go. He was
There you
writing
go.
a love song, and in it said this is not a love song. Um, the closer, Everyday Glory,
Yeah.
that one, the keys that have a return here, even though this is largely a guitar heavy album, but the
Yeah.
keyboards come back strong on this track, and I think they work well with this track to really emphasize everything. Yeah,
You okay?
yeah, it's a powerful song. It's a powerful album, but that
Mm.
song it's still relevant today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I got
it's
it.
about a lot more than child abuse, but that's a big part of what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all know what's in the news these days. So I'm not going to go there
Yeah. No.
further than
No.
that, but the song is more relevant than ever. Uh,
I got it.
it's a powerful, emotional closing track, one of their best ever. I adore the song. There's a reason this was my favorite Rush album for almost 30 years, but now it's number two, Counterparts.
Okay. Fair enough. My number two, ladies and gentlemen, Moving Pictures from 81. It's Moving Pictures. I mean, uh,
Enough said, huh?
enough said. What's your number one? No. Uh, Tom Sawyer, YYZ, uh, The Camera Eye, Red Barchetta, Vital Signs. I mean, uh, this album when it was released, it exploded on the scene, and it solidified. Thank God you blinked. I thought the camera froze. I thought the signal was gone. Keep blinking, keep blinking.
Focused.
Focus. When Moving Pictures came out, yes, you bastard. When Moving Pictures came out, this album was all over the place. And this was the first time I actually took notice of who Rush were as a band. Again, Tom Sawyer, a Stone Cold classic. YYZ, the instrumental, based on the airport signal. First of all, YYZ is the airport code for the Pearson International Airport in Toronto. That song was inspired by the code that was coming in over the radio as they were coming in for landing. And Neil Peart got a hold of this and they turned it into an instrumental. Amazing guitar, amazing keyboards on the breakdown section. Bloody hell, just an amazing piece of work. Red Barchetta, you know, just another classic for being performed live in concert. The Camera Eye, Witch Hunt is another one. It's just a wonderful album, and it's a classic for a reason. And it's mentioned in many top 10 lists for a reason. But it is my number two.
I
Um,
have. Um,
sorry, go ahead.
I've been in touch with the Canadian government, and your citizenship is going to be revoked because you did not say YYZ. Sorry, I had to do it.
Well, if Daniel Smith, the Premier of Alberta, has her way, my citizenship will be revoked. Stupid bitch.
YYZ or Z.
Yeah, won't even go into what Smith wants to do. But that is my number two, moving pictures from 81. Go on. What is your number one?
All right. Well, what could be number one? Let's see. These guys are not the best songwriters. They're kind of crappy when you get down to it. So, could my number one be anything else other than Feedback, the covers album? No, I'm just joking, folks. We know better than that. Come
I
on
was
now.
gonna
But
say
I just wanted to give a little love to Feedback. Just
that's the tour I saw them on, actually.
oh, all
That was the
right.
tour I saw them on. Go on. You're number one.
Obviously, we're not ranking Feedback. That doesn't really count.
No,
Um,
no.
all right. No, my number one is Snakes and Arrows. Got the shirt on. This was my hint.
Okay.
Snakes and Arrows. Yeah. Wow. I I liked the album when it first came out, but not near enough that I thought it would ever overtake Counterparts. Uh, it finally did a couple years ago, as some of the sleeper tracks on here really started getting to me. Some of the songs I liked right away. At the time, the popular wisdom on this album among the online Rush fandom, a lot of people, if they liked any of the vocal songs at all, it was Far Cry, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Other people didn't even like that, and they only liked the three instrumentals, and they hated the rest of it. That was a very popular online opinion back in those days in 2007. Um, yeah, blows my mind to this day because this album is chock full of killer songs, I think. And this is an Alex Lifeson showcase.
Hmm.
Alex is all over this thing. He is the centerpiece here as far as instrumentalists go. And I think that's freaking awesome because he gets lost in Getty and Neil Shadow so much.
I would
And
agree.
he shouldn't be. He's an amazing original guitarist. He gets to bring out lots of acoustic stuff here, which I really love. That's a thing he doesn't get to showcase often, but it happens a lot on this album, which is really cool. It's a different sound for them.
Mhm.
Uh, this, of course, some of the references on here lyrically had to do directly with, say, the second George W. Bush administration, the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, the religious right in the United States at the time. And a lot of that stuff, again, has continued onward from that time and is still absolutely relevant here. Um, and so some of these things hit me lyrically then, and they
Yeah.
still do now. Um, there are lines like, it seems to leave them blind and they leave no child behind, which of course was referencing the Bush administration's no child left behind policy.
Yeah.
Neil was very specific in some of his references here. And I don't think that hurts the album. Sometimes I want to learn things from my favorite artists. Other times I
Mhm.
want them to be comfort food.
Yeah.
This is a comfort album for me. This is somebody telling me things I already agree with, but doing so in a heartfelt, intelligent manner.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is my ultimate comfort Rush album. In dark, trying times, which you may not all agree we're in now, but I definitely think so.
I
And
think
have
we
been
are
for
too.
quite some time. Uh, these songs are still very important to me. Just they make me feel less isolated, less alone. They make me feel like this guy that's been dead for 6 years now knows, and that's powerful. That is powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had mentioned La Villa was not my favorite Rush instrumental. The
Mhm.
main monkey business on this album is my favorite Rush instrumental. An
Okay.
unconventional choice? Well, this whole album is an unconventional number one. So I've seen people rank this as their least favorite Rush album.
No,
So,
that's not the case. That's not the case.
um, Armor and Sword, that one was a grower. Now it's probably a top three Rush song for me. I think it's possibly Neil's best of those lyrical examinations of religion, spirituality. Um, what should have been our armor became a sharp and burning sword. That's an example of the kind of lyrics in here. It's the general message of the song is their beliefs are supposed to help us to protect us,
Hmm.
but they become perverted and they become used as weapons to harm others.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, he says it a lot better than I did. You go listen to the song, listen to the lyrics. I think it's the best that he's ever done on that subject,
Hmm.
and he's done a lot of good ones. The Way the Wind Blows, that might be my favorite Rush song.
Okay.
Yeah, we can only blow the way the wind blows. I mean, or go the way the wind blows. I mean, it's essentially about not breaking with the hard times, just ride along with it, just like a reed in the wind, you know.
Yeah, to
Uh,
endure, to keep going, to push. Yep.
yeah, and
Yep.
it's Alex. You know, I have this. I heard in my head last night when the song popped up randomly. I had here's Getty doing his Bono voice. Alex, play the blues. If you get
Hmm.
the reference to yeah, Bono telling Edge to play the blues, which was pretty cringy. Obviously,
Hmm.
Getty didn't say that here, but this is Alex playing the blues. He opens this song. There's is that Alex Lifeson playing a blues song? I'm not even a big blues fan, but I absolutely love what he does here. It
Hmm.
fits the song perfectly. Uh, Faithless, that's another strong examination again of religious beliefs and
Hmm.
Neil explaining his own. And it's kind of a follow on from Ghost of a Chance off Roll the Bones off those years ago, that same kind of message.
Yeah.
Um, Essentially, he believes in love.
Hmm.
Um, Hell, Paul McCartney could have written that. Think of
Silly
people
love
that had
songs.
enough of silly love songs. What's wrong with that?
I'd
Uh,
like to know because he would go
yeah,
again. I mean, so yeah, I get that. I
yeah.
get that.
The closer we hold on. I've been working midnights for literally decades. I work overnight, and so the lyrics in this song get me a lot too. It's essentially talking about wanting to just cut and run, walk away. How many times we put up with all this crap, repetition, measured out in coffee breaks, and all and keep going until dawn.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yep, 5 or 6 days a week. Yeah, or
No,
nights, I
no.
should say. So yeah, yeah, it's undoubtedly not a popular choice as a number one, but it is absolutely my choice as number one.
Well, that's what's important.
Yeah. So Snakes and Arrows, I think it's a modern masterpiece that gets not near enough love. So,
I understand that. I get that. My number one, A Farewell to Kings. Um, yeah, what's to be said? A lot. Obviously, close to the heart. The title track, uh, the one-two punch of the title track with Xanadu. Like, come on. I mean, like with Xanadu, you do, 11 minutes, 12 seconds. You do get the feeling you're in another realm, another world. Like you just sort of, you've time traveled back to Camelot kind of thing, that kind of feeling. Uh, with the swirling keyboards and the intricate passages on that piece alone. Cinderella Man, another one, Madrigal, like you said. But this album was one of the albums that really spoke to me when I first started getting into Rush full time. Thank you again, Columbia House, for that. But yeah, Xanadu stands out for me. And, Cygnus Book One, which ends off the album. I think this was a powerful album. I think this was a complete step above 2112. Um, I just think that musically they grew so much and they just had so many ideas they wanted to put down. And at this point for them, nothing was off limits. I mean, in terms of recording techniques, you're talking about a time period in the 70s where if an artist said to his manager, I want a camel in here wearing a diaper, smoking a joint. That's my muse. That's what I want. If I don't get that, you don't get product. And then you hear the manager yelling, "Where's the camel? He needs a camel," and in was brought in a camel. In came a camel. You know, there you go.
Your wish is my command.
There you go. But I mean, that's what I mean. Is like nothing was off limits musically for them at this point. They just sort of exploded musically after the release of 2112. And I mean, they were still playing. I mean, with 2112, they were still playing half-hour sets as opening act at, at the Capitol Theater, and there's black and white footage of them doing their set. I don't know who they were opening for, but A Farewell to Kings just blasted the doors off the hinges and said, "We've arrived. Okay, this is our time, and we're going to go for it." And it's a fantastic album. It is a fantastic album. So that is my number one. Farewell to Kings, 1977. Start the Hate Man.
Within the Pleasure Dome, decreed by Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
We'll talk about that
Oh,
off
wait.
camera. Pleasure Dome erect. But we won't even go there. But no, I think that with this album, they arrived on the scene. They were a band to be a band to contend with, and it just went up from here. You know, but again, this was at a time where bands were given the opportunity to evolve and craft their sound. A, a band like this could not survive today.
They would have never got to Caress of Steel.
No, no, no. It would have been like Fly By Night. What the fuck is this? You're out. Okay, give me another Britney Spears or give me another Taylor Swift wannabe. But yeah, no. Anyways, my number one, Farewell to Kings, 1977. You know,
All right, we were all over the map, as it should be.
as it should be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. A very sprawling two-part edition of ranking the albums on Rush with the
Billy
irreplaceable.
Gibbons.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons,
All
the
right, maybe not.
irreplaceable Bill Schuster. I want to thank Bill for joining me on this episode, and he might be back for more in the near future. Please stay tuned for that. And please put down in the comments below your opinion of these rankings and put your own ranking down of the catalog of Rush, all 19 albums, part one and part two. And again, there are no wrong answers, just opinion. All right. No, we are not music experts, as you can tell. We are just telling you what we know and what we like. Okay. So again, we like to get a conversation going on this, and please let us know of your album ranking of Rush in the comments below. For Bill Schuster, I'm Armando Venditti signing off. Again, click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content we got coming up. And we've got more shows that we're going to be working on with Jim Bricker and Ken Cheshire. And hopefully Bill Schuster will be back. We're going to get them to you as quickly as we can, okay? So for Bill, I'm Armando signing off. Look after yourselves and one another, and we'll see you soon on the Music Den. Bye for now.